Boom. There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 20 of the greatest podcast you're ever going to be a part of. That's right. Twist. The Week in Sports Talk is that, I'm just Green Bay Greg giving you episode 20. My weekly insight into the mind of me. And sometimes that gets a little dangerous. Sometimes it gets a little ugly. So here we go. Want to thank everyone for joining me for episode 20. Back at it. A lot of sports to talk about. Funny thing about this episode, I can tell you right now, is this is the first one where I had to think to myself, well, how can I correlate this to like the world around us? Because there's so much sports going on. It's so easy to just, dive into it. Then I remembered, oh yeah, that's right. I'm recording this at 6 o'clock-ish Central Time on Tuesday, September 29th. In less than 2 hours from now is the debate. So how can I make a sports reference to that? We suspend guys all the time for performance-enhancing drugs. I say they do a little UA on the two guys on the podium, find out what kind of uppers they're giving Joe, Sleepy Joe. Find out what we're dealing with when we're dealing with our future Democratic presidential guy. So anyway, here we go. Yeah. So anyway, let's see if we can do that. Do a quick drug test. See if Trump's on any ecstasy. See if Biden's on Adderall or, just straight up speed. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. So anything would make sense at this point. And you know what? To be honest with you, if it makes it more entertaining, God bless them. I did one of those free FanDuel answer 10 questions about the debate, and you could win like $50,000 a year share of it. And they were questions that they were black and white, like will so-and-so do this, or will so-and-so say this, or how will they greet each other? I'm all for stuff like that. Make it more entertaining. So let's get into it. Sports talkers. Boom. But before I do that, we got a couple of comments. All right, we got Mike Reeves. Mike Reeves is a fan of my new laptop. Thank you, work. Started a new job last week, and they were nice enough to give me a camera laptop with a better camera. So yeah, I'm coming at you. It sounds a lot better, looks a lot better. Bigger screen, so I can do this, and it's like, do my air quotes, and it's all in the same thing. So yeah, it's nice. Just don't tell my work. So let's get right into sports talkers. First one up is last night, the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup. That's all I got. I didn't even know they were still playing the NHL playoffs. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Matt Benz, co-host on Twist, has been MIA on the Twist studio for the last couple of weeks due to wedding/honeymoon. So Mike and I had no idea that the NHL was still going on. I've now dedicated way too much time to the NHL playoffs and the Stanley Cup. Next up, Major League Baseball started today their 16-team playoff. And lo and behold, go figure, the Minnesota Twins lost 4-1 just about an hour ago. The game ended to the Houston Astros. Come on, Twinkies. You guys are better than that. I'm a fan of you guys, but you gotta help me out here. You gotta anyway. All right, NBA playoff start. We got the Lakers against the Heat. LeBron James will be just I'm gonna say the LeBron Lakers will win in, I'll say 6. I'll give one game to just the sheer intestinal fortitude of Butler, and I think that Eric Spoelstra can, coach one victory. So I think that they'll win the series. The Lakers will win the series 4-2, but I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. 6 games for the Lakers. Speaking of the NBA, let's jump right into your better than that. So yesterday, the LA Clippers and Doc Rivers mutually parted ways. Doc Rivers is an NBA champion coach. Coached the Boston Celtics to a championship. You give him a couple of really good guys. You give him Paul George, give him Kawhi Leonard, or as Matt would call him, the Claw. And he can't win a championship. Can't even make it to the conference finals. Look, I get it. But sometimes it's not the coach's fault, and I get the old cliche, you can't fire the players. I understand. But at some point, maybe it's not the coach. Maybe you can't do anything with the players, so just give it another run. If Doc Rivers really did say, look, my time here is done, then it is what it is. Hopefully they found a good buyout for, his contract. But I don't see that as the case. I see it as one of those situations where people, general managers, ownership, don't want to put a lot of thought into the problem. So they immediately eliminate what they think the problem is. That's the coach. There's some cases, Adam Gase in the New York Jets. I think it's pretty obvious that he's just not an NFL coach. Probably an amazing coordinator, but just not an NFL coach. Then you have someone like Matt LaFleur, who's off to like a 16-3 start in Green Bay and rejuvenated, Aaron Rodgers' career. He had a, pedestrian year last year. Now he might be a good coach. We have a season and 3 games to go with on LaFleur. We have the same amount of time with Adam Gase. We can already tell Adam Gase just doesn't know how to run a 53-man roster. It's becoming obvious that Matt LaFleur probably does. What is also obvious is that Doc Rivers can. He's got the rings. He's got the chip. He's got the NBA championship. So as an ownership group, as a general manager, you got to ask yourself, am I just making excuses? Am I trying to find an easy scapegoat for a problem? Or is this really a problem that we need to fix? And the problem with it is that if you take the easy way out, all you're doing is you're instilling in your players this ability that, they're not going to be held accountable. And that's not fair to do to the players. The players don't want that. I mean, what do they always say about little kids? Little kids strive on discipline and they strive on giving boundaries, giving goals, giving, being put in, you got to get this done by a certain amount of time. You got to get this done. You got to, giving chores, giving responsibilities. Children want accountability. What do they get in return? Kudos. They get congratulations. Some parents decide to give out allowance. It's the same for professional athletes. If you hold players accountable and don't just yell at the coach and fire the coach, well, then players become more accountable. Players also become more accountable to themselves and to the team and to the cities they play for. Imagine coming home and your kid's room being a mess and you yell at your wife or you yell at your husband because the kid's room is a mess. That doesn't make any sense, does it? So why would you just continuously fire coaches because the players aren't playing well? What you really have to ask yourself is, are the players given 100%? Maybe, maybe not. But you got to find that out before you just use the scapegoat and just start firing coaches. All right. Let's go down to where we got here. There it is. The old GBG moment of Zen. All right. What I wanted to talk about was every team in the professional level, baseball, basketball. Baseball is really known for the scouting teams. NFL, they have scouts. They go around and they will, go to college games all over and try to find out where they can upgrade at certain positions. It's pretty obvious to me that the Green Bay Packers do not have a scouting team. And why do I say that? I think instead, the money that they don't spend on scouts, they spend on a sports psychologist. And I think that what happened the day before the draft, I think that the general manager, the coaching staff, the owner, the group that runs the show for the Packers said, what can we do on draft day to get the most out of Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he needs, more defensive help? Get him off the field, give him more opportunities. Think he needs more wide receivers, maybe maybe a top caliber tight end. And the sports psychologist said, no, piss him off. Whatever you do, piss him off. Okay, well, let's just draft his future replacement in the first round after moving up. Sports psychologist probably said, perfect, nailed it. I don't know what it is. Look, Aaron Rodgers, it's famous that he holds a grudge. He still holds a grudge against the 49ers that drafted Alex Smith, number 1 overall, and didn't draft him in 2005. It's pretty out there that he has he doesn't have a relationship with his family for God knows what reason. It took him about 10, 12 years since he left UC Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, before he even acknowledged that he went there. He used to refer to himself as going to Butte Community College, where, he went to for a year before he transferred to UC Berkeley, which is the school he went to where he got drafted in the NFL. So it's obvious that Aaron Rodgers holds a grudge. Aaron Rodgers is the type of guy where if he orders a medium rare steak at a steakhouse and it comes to a medium, He will buy the restaurant and burn it down instead of ordering another steak. That's how petty this guy is. But when it comes to sports, he can filter it onto the field. And God bless him. I love having him as my quarterback because he will he's like Bobby Boucher in The Waterboy, where he channels all of this hatred and rage against the guy he's about to tackle. Well, Aaron Rodgers just does that against the defense. And it's really, really fun to watch. He'll just whatever's pissing him off. He'll hold on to a grudge from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 minutes ago, whatever it is. And that's why he's smiling, because he knows he got the best of you. And on top of it, with no fans in the stadium, he can draw these guys off sides twice as often because he's not being drowned out. All of his hard counts aren't being drowned out by, cheering fans. So Mike and I went over this on Twist last week. We redid our predictions. We did our predictions for the Packers and the Vikings, and Mike and I had the Packers at 15-1. Is that a little out there? Not with the way they're playing, but it is what it is. So moving on. I have a couple of fans in my listening coup that are Minnesota Viking fans. So let's figure out the Minnesota Vikings problems and let's solve them. Why? Because what do I say on this show all the time? I'm a problem solver. So here's the thing. It's obvious there's 32 teams in the NFL, which means by definition, there's 32 starting quarterbacks. I can unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, list 2 quarterbacks that I would take Kirk Cousins over. That means that he is the 30th best quarterback in a pool of 32, I believe. Some people are going to say that I'm way too low. He sucks. He is horrible. So how do you fix that problem? Well, just going to look at some comments. All right. Okay, let's put Matt's comment down here. Yep, right as soon as I start talking about how to fix the Vikings problems, that's how you fix it. And Mike is going to put in here, wow, this is really Packer heavy. What gave it away, Mike? Is it the banner behind me? Is it the fact that the name of the show is Green Bay Greg, or the name of the host is Green Bay Greg? I don't know what gave it away first. Hopefully one of those helped you out. So here's the problem with the Minnesota Vikings. You have the worst quarterback in the league. You have the worst offensive line, probably one of the top 5 worst offensive lines in the league. And you have a whole bunch of rookies on offense. Well, there's nothing we can do about those rookies. There's nothing we can do about the offensive line. And this year, there's nothing you can do about the quarterback because you idiots gave that guy millions and 30+ million a year guaranteed, fully guaranteed. The problem with Minnesota Vikings fans is you guys associated guaranteed contract with quality of play. You guys were too stupid to realize that he should have never gotten that kind of money. And I know Matt and I argue about this all the time. You could have gotten Case Keenum for $20 million a year, signed him to a 5-year deal. If he didn't work out, you know what you have in return? Better offensive linemen. You're wasting too much money on this guy. So, like I said, I'm a problem solver. So here is my solution. You go out this season the way that you're playing. It is what it is. Spend a lot of your efforts trying to get these defensive backs, especially the defensive backs, a lot more playing time and get them some exposure to some NFL talent. Your offensive line, shake things up a little bit. Move guys around. See if maybe guys are more comfortable in a different position. And for the love of God, put Kirk Cousins out there. Put him out there for every flipping snap on every play. You know what? He's making like $36 million guaranteed this year and next year. So you know what? Make him hold the ball on extra points and field goals. Make him bring out the water when they call a timeout on defense. And you know what? Make him sell popcorn and brats and beers and sodas, during halftime at the concession stand for the 5,000 or so fans that they let in. Make this guy earn his flipping money because you know what? He sucks. And then what you do at the end of the year is you take your draft spot, which I think will be 5 or 6, and you draft the best available quarterback, whether that's Justin Fields in that spot, whether that's Trey Lance from North Dakota, or whoever it is. You draft the best guy, and you're going to have to play Kirk Cousins that next year as well. Why? Because you're not going to have a $30 million quarterback sitting on your bench holding a clipboard while you have your rookie go out there with a shitty offensive line and he gets murdered. So make Kirk Cousins go out there, let him get the crap beat out of him, and then with that, your rookie quarterback is learning. in the same way that the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers, and now that they're doing with Jordan Love, and the Chargers were supposed to do until Tyrod Taylor got the needle in the lungs, and now Tua Tagovailoa is doing down in Miami. Let him sit for a while. You are on the hook for that flipping contract, so suck it up. You're going to suck for the next 2 to 3 years, but you know what you're going to have when you come out of this hellhole that is the Kirk Cousins contract? You're at least going to have a quarterback who's a little more seasoned, understands how an NFL defenses work, understands how to read it, and he's had some exposure to NFL sidelines. That's what you need to do. Do not put him out there too soon. Do not ruin some guy just because you're so pissed off at Cousins. You married him. Fucking deal with it. It's your own fault. You know what? I'm sick and tired of Viking fans bitching. You guys wanted it. I've been saying, you can ask Mike. Since they signed Kirk Cousins to this guaranteed contract, I was the first one who said you could have gotten the same amount of talent for Kirk Cousins. For Kirk Cousins, you could have with Case Keenum. And they all rip on me, oh, he's a backup right now. Kirk Cousins should be a backup right now. Kirk Cousins is not good enough to play in the NFL as a starting quarterback. The only reason why he is a starter is because the idiots in Minnesota gave him $36 million guaranteed for the next 3 years. Other than that, you find me a team that would say, you know what? We would rather have Kirk Cousins on our team than Mr. X or Mr. Y, whoever our starting quarterback is. No, you wouldn't. No team would say that. So you can't say Case Keenum isn't a starter, so he's better. So Kirk Cousins is better than him. No, because Kirk Cousins shouldn't be a starter. Kirk Cousins is not a quality NFL quarterback. He sucks. It's that simple. He's the worst excuse. And you know what? I'm going to put this on here right now, Mike. Mike, 49ers. You know what? I agree with you. If Shanahan has that much of a hard-on for Kirk Cousins that he wants to take him, give him away. Just say, you know what? Take the contract. We don't need anything in return. That's it. You know, do it right now if Garoppolo's still hurt or if he's got a nagging injury. Just get rid of him. It is the worst possible decision ever to pay Kirk Cousins and then to pay him again. And by the way, this isn't just me playing Monday morning quarterback. I've been saying this since they got rid of Case Keenum and they brought in Kirk Cousins. I thought it was stupid then. I think it's stupid now. And I think it's going to be stupid tomorrow and a week from now and a year from now. But you can't get out of it. So all you can do is make the best of it. That's all I got for that. All right. I've never been so hot about the Minnesota Vikings. Usually I laugh about it. But, it's at some point, you get sick of watching someone beat their dog. You got to step in and stop the beating. All right, on to the GBG challenge. All right, so here's what I got. Don't be conventional. What do I mean by that? Find unique ways to look at things. And what I mean by that is being conventional. We have the presidential debate tonight. People automatically think to themselves, I got to vote for one or the other. Now, I'm not an idiot who says, no, vote for the third party. No. What I'm saying is what these guys are doing when they're, campaigning, they're projecting not only their own views, but the views of the party that they represent. Biden is going to represent the views of the Democratic Party and Trump is going to represent the views of the Republican Party. Well, between those two, they're going to talk about a lot of issues. And what I think everyone needs to do is be a little unconventional. Don't pigeonhole yourself as I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm going to vote this way, I'm going to vote that way. Try to find the top 10 issues that they talk about in tonight's debate or next week's debate, whenever they have the next debate. Try to find them and say, you know what? This is where I stand on this issue. This is where I stand on this issue. This is where I stand on this issue. And then you're not going to be, if once you have your list of all 10 or 12 or 15 or 8 or whatever the number is, you're going to have your top issues and you're going to have the idea of where you stand on all those. What you're going to do is you're going to become a lot less hatred of the other party. You realize, you know what? I don't exactly hate everything Trump says. I don't exactly hate everything Biden says. And by extension, I don't hate everything the Democratic Party stands for. I don't hate everything the Republican Party stands for. But we can't pigeonhole ourselves. This happened, with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, unfortunately passed away at the ripe old age of 87, last week. God bless her. She lived a good life. But right now you have every Democrat in the world who's bitching about Trump's nomination. Well, here's the funny thing. Be unconventional. Think outside your political box. What did Ruth Bader Ginsburg stand for her entire time in her professional life? whether it was at a circuit court judge all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States, the highest court in the land. She fought for women to have equal rights, for women to be seen in the same light as a man. So what happens after she passes away, after serving vehemently, greatly in the United States Supreme Court? Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and it's his job while he's sitting in the Oval Office. I don't care if there's a month left before the debate. I don't care if there's 2 years. I don't care if there's 15 minutes. When she passed away, it became his obligation, his duty to appoint or to nominate a new official, a new Supreme Court justice. So what did he do? He nominated a woman, and Democrats are all up in arms. Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be rolling around in her grave right now, because I don't know Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG. I don't know her, but I don't think that she was so close-minded to think, because Democrats who don't like Trump's nomination, this is how stupid you sound. You're thinking that Ruth Bader Ginsburg did this. You know what I want to fight for? I want to fight for women. I want to fight for equality. I want to fight for women who can earn the same amount of money as a man. A woman who can hold the exact same positions as a man, only if they agree with me. You sound stupid when you say that. When you think that. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for all people of all colors, all people of all genders, men and women alike. So get off your high horse and just stop thinking that what she did was she just fought for women who agree with the same thing she does. That's not the way this country works. Get over yourself. Donald Trump nominated a 48-year-old woman who's a genius and who just might not accept everything. But you know what my 12-year-old daughter is going to look up to? She's going to say, oh, when she gets older, maybe Olivia, when you were 12 years old, you know what? There was a woman who served on the Supreme Court for years and years. She was admired by women all over the place, all over the country. And when she passed away, the president nominated another woman. Think about that. You can't just like someone that just agrees with everything because they're taking, you have to open your mind. Quit being so god-darn close-minded. Right now, I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg would say to herself, you know what? I want another woman to serve in the Supreme Court right after my passing. If she didn't want Trump to nominate someone or she didn't want it, you know what? That's too bad. That's not the way the system works. You sat on the Supreme Court. You had the opportunity to change the Constitution. You didn't. You know what? So deal with it. The laws are in place for a reason, and it's a good law. It's a good practice. So quit bitching about it. Watch the debate tonight. See what happens. GBG out.